Sorry. All right. Welcome. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Latoya Davis, and welcome to my new series called Akashic Moment. It will be a weekly gathering, a weekly showing up of me coming here to talk to you all about the Akashic Records and to answer any questions that you all may have. You know, I always say that you don't find the Akashic Records find you. And so if you're here right now, you're in the right place. Um, yeah, I'm excited. Oh, someone's here. If you're here, oh, wait, I didn't set this up well. If you're here, let me know you're here. But how will I see you? I'm gonna figure that out. Let me know you're here. Drop it in the comments that way, because also I need to be able to see the chat, right? So if you do not know me, let me open it up on my phone. Sorry. It's what happens when it's the first time, right? You figure out the things that you didn't think to figure out while you were getting started. So I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, y'all. While I'm trying to pull it up on my phone so I can see comments in the chat. But while we are here together, if you don't know me, I am Dr. Latoya Davis, the owner of Chi Healing Institute, and I do a few different things. Primarily, I work with the Akashic Records to help people understand where they are living in programs, societal conditionings, past life programs, ancestral, karmic, self-imposed, all of those things, so that we can break them to help you get to a life filled with joy, ease, and abundance. And I truly believe that the Akashic Records are one of the tools that is absolutely wonderful. This partly because everyone has access to it, right? It's not something that you need to go to someone to do. Although, yes, there are times and situations where, you know, things are outside of our control, right? We can't let go of our own mind, all of those things. And some people just don't want to learn how to do stuff. And that is fine too. But I love the records, and we'll talk about what they are, just because I believe that they, like I said, are accessible to everyone. The information is very, very accurate, and it gives you a soul level view, which means that it is given to you from a place of empowerment. Excuse me. All right. I think I got it. Nope. Sorry. That's me coughing. Okay, great. I see people. Got it. All right. So what happened is, because I'm streaming it through StreamYard as opposed to through the YouTube live, I don't see the comments. So that's why I had to fit, but I didn't realize that until after I started. So good morning. So each week we will cover kind of a different broad topic, but you're always free to bring questions and drop them in the chat. If you know that there's something that you want to ask me about the Akashic Records, but you're like, I can't make it on Sundays, you're always free to send me a DM on social media at Chi Healing Institute, or send me an email at drtoya@chiheal2.com, and you'll be able to see those links in the email. All right. So today, like I said, we're just going to give big picture overview of what the Akashic Records are. I like to say that it is a energetic field where all possibilities exist. So past, present, and future possibilities all exist in this one moment. Now, one of the things that I think that kind of lends itself slightly differently to the way that I teach and understand the Akashic Records is that I don't solely approach it from the standpoint of it being the spiritual idea or this spiritual concept. And yes, it can absolutely be that, right? But it's also very scientific, right? And I don't want to bore people around the science behind it all, but just know that it is an actual verified field where all possibilities exist. And one of the things that I impress upon everyone to understand is that we are all energy. Everything is energy. Your thought, emotions, me as this physical being, all of it is energy. And because it's all energy, we can access it in various ways. And so what the Akashic Record does is it allows us, or it creates this space or this field where we are able to go in and get information. about ourselves. And I lean into ourselves because, particularly as people who are starting out, we should be focused on ourselves, right? We can't save the world. We don't need to know about the rest of humanity if we have not really dealt with us first. So I am leaning this conversation into the standpoint of we are working with and understanding ourselves and who we are and how we are. All right. So that's big picture what the Akashic Records are. Now, y'all, the internet is a strange and lovely place, right? It is wonderful because we get to hear and see all of the things and all of the theories, but it's also crazy because we get to hear and see all of the things and all of the theories, right? And so my offering to you is always that, you know, we allow the best version of ourselves to receive the information that is relevant and that is applicable, right? All lies have some truth, right? All truth is based in something. So even if I say something to you and you're like, oh, that sounds absolutely crazy, I hold space for you to be like, that's absolutely crazy, right? And I also offer you that same grace when you're listening to other people and they say something that is like, oh, what's happening? So I say that because when I am listening to and receiving a lot of information that deals with the Akashic Records, I'm just like, that's a really strange perspective. So when we are talking about the Akashic Records, understand that it is not a space that is designed to bring harm to yourself or to other people. It is absolutely designed to be uplifting, to help you connect with the highest and most purest version of yourself, and to understand patterns, um, areas that you may need to heal and release, to understand your relationships with people. And I don't just mean romantic relationships, right? This can be familial relationship, sibling relationships, even just general platonic relationships, work relationships, any type of relationships, right? It is helping you to understand that. The key thing to note is that as a soul, you are one, divine, and two, perfectly made. With understanding that you are divine and perfectly made, you have to say, okay, the things that are happening to me, why are they happening? What can I learn from this particular thing, right? Because if I'm divine and perfectly made, then one, that means that if something is going on that I don't like right now, I can also change it, right? And so the Akashic Records gives us that thing that we can peek into and kind of understand. So when we are accessing the Akashic Records, the thing that is really important is the intention that we set, the intention that we hold, right? Why am I accessing the record? So why I'm giving you all of that information in the front end is because I want you to understand that when you go into the records, I want you to go in with the intention of, one, bringing more joy, ease, and abundance to yourself, right? Creating this life that is beyond the thing that you can imagine. What one of the people, who is it? She says, living heaven here on earth, right? I want you to go in with the intention, with that mindset, as opposed to the mindset of, something's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Why are all of these things happening to me? Right? All of that stuff, because that takes the power away from you and it limits the way that the Akashic Records can assist you. Okay. They are here to assist you to create that life that you want. So I'm setting the framework so that, one, we understand. Most important thing in the Akashic Records is intention. Right? What is the intention that you are going into the records with? Now, there are many, many ways that people can access the records, right? If you go on YouTube, this lovely platform here, you can find all types of like guided meditations and just all of the things. And everybody is going to be different. So I don't want to say one thing is better than another way, right? But in general, ways that we can access the Akashic Records are through meditation, it's through intention setting, it's through visualization, and then it's through prayer processes. Okay. And again, there are multiple prayer processes that exist. So I will be remiss if I didn't take this moment to plug my own thing, right? So I have developed a modality called the Akashic Key process. Which I've been teaching and certifying people in for a long time. A lot of you found me from teaching classes on the Akashic Records, coming to get an Akashic Record reading, or through my books, right? So I'm going to just take a point of privilege here. This is my latest book. accessing the Akashic Records. The glare from the ring light is horrible. But it's on. There we go. Accessing the Akashic Records takes you through the complete process of accessing the Akashic Record, including the Akashic Key process. And then this was my first book, the Akashic Record Journal, which also has the Akashic Key process in there. But aside from that, so there are, again, prayers that you can use to access the records. Each of those modalities that we use, so meditation, visualization, intention, and prayer, will, I like to say, give slightly different results depending on who and how you are naturally oriented and wired, right? So if you are not a person that normally meditates, thinking I'm going to access the Akashic Records by meditation is probably not the best, use of resources. Not to say that you can't get there, because we can do anything we put our mind to, but it will probably not yield you that kind of immediate result that you're looking for, right? But with practice, all things are possible. Visualization. Again, same thing. If you're not someone that visualizes, maybe not the best way to start, right? But if you are someone that is a part of your natural practice, okay, remembering setting that intention first, understanding what it is you're trying to do, why you're trying to access it. So setting that intention, right? And then going into whatever process you are deciding to go into, be it meditative or visual. The beauty of a prayer process is bringing in a couple of different kind of universal energy ideas that's synergizing together to be able to give you access to the records. One is bringing in the energy of sound, right? It's sound frequency that's happening with the words that are coming out of your mouth. And then it's using the power of words, right? The intention of words. And if you are using a prayer process that has been, I say that my process was gifted to me, right? So it is something that has already been encoded kind of in the universal structure, that it's like when those words are said in that particular way, it unlocks or activates something in the universal frequency because it was given that way. So when you're using a prayer process, be it my process or anyone else's process, just like a general prayer, the sound frequency and the word patterns, the way that those things are structured together, are automatically creating a kind of energetic signature that goes out like a beacon, right? And then connects you and resonates in a particular way. Also, the human mind, the way we have been conditioned, because most of us in this day and age did not grow up in spaces where we were kind of constantly connecting to that inner aspect of us, or constantly connecting to a source or divinity that was higher than us. So we were taught and conditioned to know that when I say a prayer, it does this thing, right? So saying the prayer also triggers something in the mind, or in that unconscious or subconscious subliminal space, that says this thing works because of this. Okay. Prayer, meditation, visualization, and intention. So then there are those of us who are just really good at moving through what I like to call, astral space, right? Moving through this kind of energetic field. And for those of us who are good at that, just simply setting the intention and understanding that all things are energy, right? And because all things are energy, you have the ability to kind of move and maneuver through, is the reason that intention one works. All right. So I got a question. What is the difference between the Akashic Key process clearing for clients versus the clearing requests for? Okay. So okay, just a backstory. I offer classes in the Akashic Records. So we have level 1 classes, which is just you learning how to access your own personal records, right? It's very in-depth, but it's about you, because we can't be out here helping other people if we ain't helped ourselves, right? Then I start to go deeper, right? And so I have an Akashic mastery level, where in that level, I am teaching people how to essentially do what I do, right? One of the services that I offer are clearings and healings in the Akashic Records. So this question that just came up is from one of my students who is in the mastery level program. And she's asking about the difference between the clearing for clients versus the request for the Akashic Key process. And I'm going to answer what I think your question is. And if I'm wrong, Lisa, feel free to drop it to clarify it in the chat for me. All right. All right. So when we're talking about, I have to overview because I'm a teacher, y'all. So when we're talking about clearing things in the Akashic Record, what's really important to understand is that all things are energy. And so really what we are doing is disrupting a particular energetic pattern or frequency that has allowed you to uphold a certain pattern, belief, behavior, way of being, right? So there's something in your energetic field due to trauma, due to repeated actions, due to things that you've taken in that are as kind of an imprint. And that energetic imprint is impacting the way that you get to show up, right? It is taking you out of that soul level alignment. And one of the ways that we are able to disrupt that particular imprint in the Akashic Records is through something that's called a clearing. Okay. And when we're doing a clearing, essentially, like I said, we're just kind of flushing out that that energetic imprint so that you have the opportunity to bring in a new imprint, right? Or bring in a new energy that is more aligned to the thing that you want. So as a part of my teaching, I have been gifted, right? This process is a clearing process. And the two versions, so there is one that as a practitioner, so if you came to me for a clearing and healing session, at the end of our call, I would send you an email. And in this email, there would be some next steps. In that next steps would probably include a script that I want you to read, okay? But on the back end of that, I have also done work on your behalf to go into your Akashic Records and clear this energy as well. What I read in your Akashic Records and the script that I say and the words and intentions and prayers that I put into your records, although they overlap with what I give you, are different. Right? Why? Because our perspectives are different, right? When I'm doing it from my side as the practitioner on your behalf, I don't need to reframe my thoughts. I don't need to clear subconscious beliefs as it relates to you, right? Because that's your thing. So what I'm doing as a practitioner is I'm setting the intention so that one, you have the maximum effectiveness with the work that you do on your own behalf, because it ain't my job to do your clearing, right? So I'm setting the parameters so that one, all of the things that we've talked about that need clearing for you, that they have the ability to work, right? So I'm going to go in and do kind of what I'm going to say, that big surface level kind of cleaning, so that you have access to everything that you need. And then the process that I send to you as the client. So Lisa, so the process that I send to the client is coded to work so that it impacts the client on in the mental, emotional, and spiritual level, right? So we don't need the same words. We don't have the same intention. Let me know if that makes sense to you, Lisa. All right. So then Vanessa says, I'm new to the Akashic Records. What is the reason behind the attunement? Sorry, y'all. And I'm getting over a thing. I should have brought some water and I didn't. So the attunement is a process that not everyone uses it or includes it in what they teach. I have found that one, I have a pretty high success rate with people who work with me accessing the Akashic Records. And I believe, one, on top of the fact that I'm a great teacher, I believe that it is part of the attunement process is a part of that. What the attunement does is think of a radio station or a radio station. A radio, wait. where there are a lot of different radio stations, you know, the old school, like where you had to turn the knob and find the thing so that you can get the channel, right? You had to align the frequency with where you were so that you can get the sound, right? Get the sound to be clear and crisp. What an attunement does essentially is that it is that process of taking your particular energy field and finding the best match, the best energetic match and frequency to the larger field of the Akashic Records. Okay, that's one kind of big picture version of it. It is just a way to match your energy with the energy of the field. The second part, though, is so that's what a general attunement would be. So we do attunements in Reiki. That's the only thing I can think of right now, right? But it is this way to align your energy with another particular energy. With the Akashic Key process, specifically, because that attunement is designed to match that prayer, it shortens the, I want to say the distance, I guess, between, it shortens the distance between how you're really able to maneuver within the records. Because this is the thing, right, y'all? So I say that, sorry, my comfortable spaces when my legs are under me. I say that we can all access the records, and we absolutely can. I believe that 1000%, and we should, right, learn how to access the records. But the effectiveness and how effective you are in the records absolutely comes from learning how to maneuver and understand the records, right? With anything, you get better once you start to understand the nuances and the frequencies. So sorry, this was a side note tangent. So yes, we can all access the records, but we get better at implementing and receiving information as we learn and as we're taught how to use the records. So with the particular attunement that goes with, like any attunement that goes with a particular process, what you're doing is specifically saying, I am attuning this person to the frequency of this process. Okay. So in the Akashic Key process prayer, there's a line that says, attune me instantly to the, you would think I knew this by heart, but I still read it, y'all, because again, there's the visual, there's just a combination that's happening when you're reading it and saying it. But attune me instantly to the something, 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 right? So it's like those things act as a trigger. It's like, I said this, I did this. Oh, wait, these things match. Key in whole, open, and go. All right. So I hope that answered your question about the attunement, Vanessa. If not, feel free to drop another question in the chat. So Lisa said the same thing, just different perspectives. The clearing request for Akashic Key process is clearing from my perspective, and the clearing for a client is clearing from their perspective. Yes. So what happens as people, right, when we are, first of all, no one can do anything on your behalf. Let me say that, right? Again, in this age of internet gone wild, there can be a tendency to believe that we are not agents of our own healing. And that is an absolute untruth, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you are an agent in your destruction. You are an agent in your upliftment. You are an agent in your healing. You're an agent in your sovereignty. Whatever the thing is, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you are an agent in it. Okay. And even if someone is assisting you, they are doing just that. They are assisting you in doing whatever that other thing is, but you still have to play a part in it. Okay. Consciously or unconsciously, you are playing a part. So when we go to someone for healing, right? When we go to someone for healing, know that what they are doing as the person, the practitioner that you're going to, is creating the container. They are helping to create the optimal environment for you to be able to do whatever said thing is that you need to do. It could be by shifting energy. It could be by helping you to reprogram or imprint a thought. It can be by giving you a new perspective or a new paradigm. But they are creating the container where you were then able to go and follow up and reinforce that idea, continue to feed energy into that idea or notion, right? Amplify or multiply. So that's what's happening. So when we are talking about, so now going back to your question directly, Lisa, when we're talking about the difference between the client perspective and the practitioner perspective, always hold that in your mind, right? You are never healing anyone. You are never clearing anyone. You are setting up the space for them to be able to do it. And what you have the power to do is break up those large energy disturbances that they may not be able to access. The reason that they can't access it is because they are tied to that particular frequency. Let me not say can't. They can. It just would take them more, right? But because they are tied to the frequency, it is harder for them to access a different frequency. I remember I had a client, this was recent too. It was in the last month, I say. And I don't remember the topic, like what the session was about, but I remember at the end, she said, what if I can't? No, it was something like, what if I don't know that, like emotion, right? So let's say it was love. Let's say if it was like, unconditional. She was like, what if I don't know that? I can't access that, right? So as a practitioner, that is a very real thing, right? Sometimes the people who we're working with, who you are, right? You've only known one thing. And so although somebody is talking about this foreign concept, idea, emotion, frequency, feeling, right? You're like, that sounds good, but I don't know how to activate that. So as a practitioner, Lisa, when you're doing the clearing, what you're doing is saying, I have the ability to disrupt your particular energy field in a way so that you can have access to these things. And then what the client is doing is, when they are reading that script, they are reprogramming their subconscious mind to be in alignment with this new belief or idea. All right. So yes, difference between the client perspective and the practitioner perspective. Y'all, if you can do me a favor, hit the like button. I always don't remember to do that. Hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So again, I will be here every Sunday. In theory, every Sunday I have Kids in Life be happening, right? But in theory, I will be here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I absolutely love answering questions. I love teaching. Like, this is the thing that brings me joy. And so just a little bit of backstory on how I got here. If you have been a part of the Chi community for a while, I've tried many things, right? I have a Facebook community, and at first I was sending people into that. And then it's just like, that doesn't feel aligned. Talking about creating a life of joy, ease, and abundance, right? Why understanding yourself at soul level, which is the perspective that we get when we're using the Akashic Records, is because it allows you to understand how you get to that life that you want easiest. And the reality is, you will never get the life you want by doing things that are not aligned for you, right? If it's not aligned, no matter how many people say that this is the way that you should do something, it doesn't mean that it won't bring you some success. It doesn't mean that it won't work. There won't be a modicum of success with it, but it won't bring you the maximum amount of success, right? And so for me, I had to stop and say, like, what is the thing that you do, right? What feels good? What feels right? I know that everyone is saying, this is the way you're supposed to do this thing. I was like, but I knew that that wasn't right. And I just hadn't figured out the thing that felt right to me yet. And so this feels right, y'all. This feels right. Being able to show up, being able to talk, being able to answer questions feels right to me. I don't like launching webinars. It's not my thing. right? And so here we are. So I am also team, I will try it until I don't like it. Right? I don't really have attachment. I don't have attachment issues, so I will be here till I don't like it. So all right, so Lisa, just know also that we are actually getting ready to go live for the level 2 class this month in January. So you will have space in the class to be able to ask your questions with the other people in your cohort. So just continue to take your list of questions, and you can bring them here, right? But know that we will have space in the class. All right. So if there are no more questions for today, I'm going to do one more shout out for my first book here, the Akashic Record Journal. The links are in the description. And my newest book, this book actually has a clearing protocol in it. The clearing protocol that's in this book is not one that I actually teach in my in the mastery program or in anything. This clearing protocol is one that you could absolutely do on your own, right? My goal is to be able to give you enough information so that you can experiment and figure it out. The beautiful thing with the Akashic Records is you can't go wrong, right? You're not going to do any harm. You're not going to do any harm. Okay. The structure of the records are set up so that you won't do harm. So feel free to take chances and explore, right? If you want additional support, again, I offer recorded courses as well as live courses, and we are getting ready for level 2 mastery. I'm just going to check the chat one more time. I'll be here every Sunday. Tell a friend. Not related to the Akashic Records. I have a trip coming up to Brazil. If you're interested in that, it is there. I'm taking 2 small groups to Brazil, Salvador, Brazil this summer. The first group is June. I don't know. I don't remember the dates. It's at the end of June. And then the second trip is at the beginning of July. And it is focused around ancestral lineage healing. So the other thing I mentioned in the beginning that I kind of have these primary things. So primarily I work with the Akashic Records and I work in ancestral lineage healing. Ancestral lineage healing is understanding that we are an amalgamation of all of those who have come before us, right? And so sometimes those patterns, those behaviors, those things are not ours, in the sense that it's something we've done or we've created, but it's something that we have been inherited through passed down epigenetics, through what we've modeled or seen in our family line. And so that's the other thing that I do. I help people identify where they are holding on to kind of ancestral patterns and break those and help us again energetically to release and start to loosen that. And one of the things that I started doing a few years ago is I would go to these sites that had large amounts of atrocities that have happened to Black people for whatever reason. And I was literally standing on the bridge in Selma, Alabama. I think that's where I was at. Montgomery. I was in Montgomery. Yeah, I was in Montgomery, Alabama. And my spirit was like, there are people here that are still like tied to this place and to this thing. And so that started me on this releasing ancestral energies from kind of places where there have been large atrocities, like I said, done to people of color. And in that, though, I started to notice the things that I was releasing. I started to notice how it was impacting my life. So this summer, past summer of 2024, I was in Brazil, which is my absolute favorite place, y'all. I love it more than anything. And same thing, right? So I'm going to these different places and I'm doing the thing. I'm really focused on myself, though, because it was the summer and summer is my self-development time. And there was this one spot that I went to, which is said to be where the enslaved Africans were brought as the place of disembarkment from the ship. And so you can go, they've tried to like make it light and all of this stuff. Now, anyway, I was in there, standing there for like 30 minutes doing this work. And something that I had been working on for like a while, like within an hour after leaving and doing this work, got a call, like things were moving in this. And I was like, Cool, got it. So I decided that I kind of just tied my love for Brazil and all things Brazilian in Salvador with this ancestral lineage stuff. And so doing a trip. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in my chicourses.com/links. Has all of my stuff, right? I'm just going to check the messages chat one more time, make sure I don't have anything else. And then if not, I will see you all July 3rd through the 8th. Thank you, Tori. So that's my July trip. Is it July 3rd through the 8th? Okay. She's going, so I guess she would know, right? July 3rd through the 8th. And then the one in June is I feel like it's June 20th through the 29th. That feels right. But you can check it out on my website. All right, y'all. I am sending you the intention that the rest of your day is filled with the greatest amount of joy, ease, and abundance. And anything that is counter to you being in the space of joy, ease, and abundance, that it dissipates with ease. I send you the intention that your soul is, or that you are able to hear your soul's whisperings as it guides you to the best version of yourself. All right. Embrace freedom. Talk to y'all later. Peace.